This is our second inspection of our new bees that we installed from packages. And we're going to go in here and check. The queen should be laying eggs. They should have some more comb built. And that's what we're going to check on right here. So I've already put some smoke in there. Put just a little more. A little in the top. Take the top off. Make it a habit to check the top. More than likely the queen is not there right now. Later this summer she may be. If you make it a habit, you won't miss her. We did that one time. Pulled the top off, threw it down on the ground, and then AJ said, "Hey, Dad, there's the queen." And sure enough, the queen was down on the ground. We got her back up. She was all right, and we put her back in the hive. I am on, aren't I? Yeah. Wired for sound. All right, just start feeding. Shim. All right, they propolized that down a little bit. And there is definitely bees in here. It's not too bad, just a little. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, top cover check. No queen, just bees. Put that right there. All right, let's see what we can find. Move it that way. Nothing on that one. Starting to build wax on this one. See the wax they're building? Now this side they haven't started. Well, started just a little bit right there. Just started. Alright, that's good. Alright, most of the bees seem to be located on these next 2 or 3 frames. Very careful. Whenever you're going into a hive, remember, have a plan. Don't just go in there and just start poking around and say, "Oh, what was we in here for? Oh, we killed the queen." Never mind. Let's don't do that. All right, this comb is built out. They have got nectar in there. This side is built out even more. And again, nectar. Not seeing any. Yes, I'm seeing some eggs. We've got some eggs. Let me see if I can get a picture of them. Very teeny. Right there. See those? They're standing up. So there were just laid one straight up. So that's probably just laid today. Or some of them are starting to lean over. But that's the eggs. Right there. Those little miniature rice grains, it looks like. All right. Well, that is good. Queen is marked, so she'll be easier to spot, and I'm not seeing her. Now, once an egg is laid, it is 21 days before it becomes a worker bee. That one down. So that's the main thing we wanted to see. We're going to look at one more frame, but our main thing was see if they're building out comb, which is now we're checking on. See if the queen is laying eggs. We know they've got eggs. So this is now definitely their home. And that one is built out very well. The comb was built out with eggs in it, yes. All right, comb is deep, built out very well. Trying to peer down in there so you can see some eggs. There's one. Blow on them and they kind of move out of the way a little bit. Doesn't make them happy, but they move out of the way. There's some eggs. Excellent. All right. Lots of bees. They're mainly on these frames right here. There's not a lot of activity over here yet. That's okay. They're laying eggs, and that is the main thing. They're building out comb. They're laying eggs. That's what our goal was today. Scoot those frames back up right to the edge. This edge right here needs to butt the next frame at that same edge. That way it gives them bee space, and you know exactly where to put that. You push it together every time, and that's the way to create the bee space. They won't build out the comb any more than they can get past. If you leave it hanging out, they'll build that comb out some more, and then when you go to put it back in its proper position right next to each other, you're going to mash some and disallow access. Disallow, I don't know if that's a word or not, but they won't have access to that hive if you do that. So, all right, we've accomplished what we want to accomplish. Get some smoke. Get them down in there. And that in the back. And the back. Is in the beehive. We probably don't want to hear what they have to say at this time. All right, now we'll put our feeding shim back on here. They're building more out, so we are going to add some syrup to them. Now we're going to add some little bit more syrup. We're not going to fill that jar up because they have got some stored, and we don't want them filling up all the comb they've got built. But if you keep a little bit of syrup on them, they will continue to build out comb, because they consider that like a honey flow, like a nectar flow, and they will continue to build that out. Now we're going to flip this upside down out here, away from the bees, and when it starts dripping, we'll just put it right over that. All right, we got a little bit of syrup on them. We're going to put the cap back on, and we're going to leave that alone. Inspection 2 done. And that's all we're after. It's not a major deal. All right, let's move on to this next one. Let's do the same thing on it. Remember, we're going in with a purpose. Check comb. Check for eggs. After that, we're pretty much done. Now this has been about a week since this was installed, both of these. And there is bees in there, yes. A little smoke. Let them rest a minute. Let them think about that a little bit. bee away from the mic, that's all you'll hear is a bee. Alright, that ought to have been enough time. We'll take the top off. It's our feeding shim right now. We're going to put our our top board right out here. We're going to remove our feeding jar and break that loose, which is not down too much, which is okay. Always check the top. Just make it a habit. Now if you look here, see this paper that was on here? They're beginning to work that paper off. They didn't like that, so they're working that off. They would do the same thing if you painted the inside. They would try to scrape all that paint off or cover it with propolis. All right, again, we've got bees in the center here, and we're gonna be checking for comb build out and eggs. All right. A little smoke. Pull one frame out. Not much on it. Gives us room to work. This next one's got quite a bit of bees on it. Carefully, slowly. All right, we've got pollen and nectar and some build out, but not a lot. Scoot that over where you've got room to move the next one. Carefully, slowly. Now this has got a lot of bees on it. So there's some things going on here. Yep. Eggs. I've got eggs. Got some deep comb build out. I do not see the queen right now, but she has been here just recently because there's some upright eggs. And they're already building a queen cup. And we're going to eliminate that one. Now they may build it right back. All right, now this is a hive too. That one was our experiment hive. We're checking it out. We want to see what's going on. This one, we've got eggs. We've got build out of comb. We're not going to push it any further than that because we found what we want to find. And we're going to close it back up. This is why it's good to have more than one hive to start with. You need at least 2, 3 wouldn't be bad at all. And that's what I would suggest you go with, is 3, if you can. I understand if you can't. Knock these bees down in there, so don't mash them. Put the top on. All right, put our feeding box back on, which is a deep right now. We are going to give them a little syrup. Now, the reason I destroyed that queen cup, there was an egg in it and they were building it out. That was going to be a queen and they were going to swarm. And they've got some fresh eggs in there in case that queen is not active, but it looks like she is active because there's eggs in there that are a day old or less. Again, turn it upside down out of the hive. It runs out. When it stops or gets real close to stop dripping, pull the vacuum on it, put it right in there. Now we'll put our top back on. And we're completely done with our second inspection in about a week. Now, what we need to do with these hives is probably let them go at least 2 weeks before we check on it again. This in particular, we want to check on again. They'd already built a queen cup. We need to check and make sure there's some eggs in there again, make sure the queen is active. If there's any queen cells in there, you can either destroy them or move them somewhere else. But you don't want your brand new hive swarming. Number one, it's going to be pretty weak if it does, because it's already only 5,000–6,000 bees in there at the most. And there's bees dying in there every day. It's going to be 21 days till any new ones are born from the time we put it in there, the time she laid her first egg. So the population of this hive is going to drop for at least 21 days, and then it may kind of level off and start picking back up. But the population is going to drop. You don't want this swarming, so we need to keep an eye on that and see if there's something we can do to prevent them from swarming, if we can. If we have to split them up ourselves, put them back later, that's what we'll do. All right. And remember, count your blessings every day. I know you got them, and I know you got a lot of them. Count them every day, and I think you'll find you're blessed well beyond measure. I know I am. God bless.